This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Precisely 6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by Sharifa Tahir. Headlines. The President says the cooperative societies can provide a better service for the benefit of both the farmers and the consumers. Special bus service for the primary school children. Parliamentarian Tissa Attanayaka says UNP should practice a friendly atmosphere to work together with the Samagi Jana Balavegaya. Professor Atula Sumatipala says launching taking trade union actions is totally discriminating and unfair at this critical juncture. In world news, COVID restrictions in England will shortly be lifted. Sports. Sri Lanka batsman Bhanuka Rajapaksa fined $5,000 for a breach of contract. Local news in detail now. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says the cooperative societies can provide a better service for the benefit of both the farmers and the consumers as well. The cooperative societies can directly purchase farmers' products at a better rate and sell those to the customers at a reasonable rate. Thus, the cooperative societies can compete with the current competitive market successfully. The President also added that cooperative societies will be extremely useful in a disaster situation. Addressing the 9th International Cooperative Day held at Presidential Secretariat yesterday, President also pointed out cooperative societies are providing a great task to distribute many products made all over the world. The cooperative societies will also be utilized to successfully implement scheduled organic fertilizer manufacturing proceedings and solar power projects in the country as well. Special bus service for the primary school children scheduled to be introduced shortly. State Minister Dilum Amunugama says this will facilitate primary school children a safe shuttle service under the scheme. He added government has also taken several measures to provide better commuter services for the general public. Parliamentarian Tissa Attanayaka states that the UNP should practice a friendly atmosphere in order to work together with the Samagi Jana Balavegaya. He says UNP is now revenging upon from the members of the local government bodies who supported Samagi Jana Balavegaya at the election. At a press briefing held at Kandy, he also added that they had to separate from the party and from Samagi Jana Balavegaya as UNP did not practice democratic approaches. Chairman of the National Institute of Fundamental Studies, Professor Atula Sumatipala says launching strikes and taking trade union actions by the nurses in the health sector is totally discriminating and unfair. The country is under a critical situation facing the global COVID pandemic and fighting against it practically. He added that the general public should not suffer as a result of trade union actions. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation giving you the news.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
Continuing with more stories here at home. Secretary-General of Parliament Dhamika Dasanayaka says that the COP has summoned Sri Lankan Airlines before the committee today. He added they were summoned in order to review its current performance. The Sri Lanka Insurance Corporation and the National Housing Development Authority have also been summoned before the COP committee. And the COP committee is scheduled to meet under the chairmanship of parliamentarian Professor Charita Herath. Accordingly, the Ministerial Consultative Committee on Defence is scheduled today. The Committee on Ethics and Privileges is also scheduled to meet today. The Committee on High Posts and the Parliamentary Select Committee to identify the shortcomings in the existing election structure and laws will also meet tomorrow under the chairmanship of the Leader of the House and Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. Another discussion on the impact and damage due to the fire at Express Pearl ship held yesterday under the patronage of Justice Minister Ali Sabri at the Justice Ministry. At the meeting, attention was mainly paid on procedure on taking compensation, distribution of compensation payments and assessing the damage caused to the economy, fisheries community and also the environment. Under the instructions of the President, fisheries community will be given priority when distributing the compensation payments. Attention was also paid on removing material inside the containers that have been sunk in the area. It was also reported the report of the committee appointed to look into the damage caused to the economy is to be released this week. That's local news.
The largest bonus declared in the history of the Sri Lankan insurance industry. Sri Lanka Insurance Grand Bonus, an unmatchable bonus of 8.6 billion rupees only for Sri Lanka Insurance life policy holders from the nation's largest insurer. Call 0112 357 357 for more details. Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And on the main news story, the epidemiology unit of the Health Ministry reports that another 235 persons have been tested positive for COVID-19 in Sri Lanka, moving the daily total of new cases to 816. This brings the total number of confirmed cases of coronavirus reported in the country to 266,499. As many as 234,942 recoveries and 3,268 deaths have been confirmed in Sri Lanka since the outbreak of the pandemic. The epidemiology unit's data showed that 28,321 active cases are currently under medical care.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. State Minister and Chairperson of the Women's Parliamentarians, Dr. Sudarshini Fernandapule, says COVID-19 has increased the likelihood of children accessing the internet. The most serious of which is the fact that some groups are subtly attempting to sexually and emotionally abuse children. State Minister added that could be detrimental for the future badly. The State Minister also said the responsibility of protecting children from child abusers is a responsibility of the whole society, not only the family. Therefore, the unconditional fight against child abusers and the need to enforce the law against them should be strengthened. That's on Watchlight. Moving on to world news headlines. COVID restrictions in England will shortly be lifted. Malaysians are flying white flags outside their homes as a plea for help amid a strict lockdown. Indonesia's government orders producers to prioritize medical oxygen. World news in detail. COVID restrictions in England will shortly be lifted. Making face masks voluntarily and ending 1M plus social distancing, 1 meter plus social distancing and QR code sign-ins at restaurants will be among the restrictions that are to be lifted from the 19th of July. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said people must learn to live with COVID. In his press conference announcements, he said that infections are expected to rise when rules are eased, but ministers believe deaths will be limited by vaccinations. The fourth and final stage of the government's roadmap out of lockdown in England was delayed last month to no earlier than 19th of July. However, the Prime Minister is not expected to address self-isolation, travel restrictions or the rules in schools. Meanwhile, the United Union says public transport and shop workers will face more risk of infection if mask rules are dropped as expected. Malaysians are flying white flags outside their homes as a plea for help amid a strict lockdown. The project was to help lower-income families signal distress has gained momentum on social media last week. In response, neighbors, celebrities and businesses have offered help providing food and other essentials. Malaysia has been under a nationwide lockdown since the 1st of June to rein in a surge of COVID infections. It was also reported emotional stories of families with depleted savings surviving on one meal a day have made the news in recent weeks. Suicides have gone up, showing that 468 people have taken their own lives over the first 5 months of the year. Finally, on world news, Indonesia's government has ordered producers to prioritize medical oxygen amid a COVID surge to meet the shortage of oxygen in a number of cities. Hospitals say they have almost exhausted supplies, with one reporting that 63 patients died as a result of oxygen shortages. Increased travel and the highly contagious Delta variant have exacerbated the crisis. Indonesia has had the worst COVID outbreak in Southeast Asia, with about 2.3 million positive cases and more than 60,000 deaths so far. Indonesia also announces COVID lockdown as cases surge. However, experts warn that the overall numbers are potentially much higher because of severely inadequate testing outside the capital, Jakarta. That's on world news. Moving on to development news, construction work of the new Madhya Pradesh Sabha building complex has been completed. Madhya Pradesh Sabha chairman Vimal Priyajanaka said the two-storied building comprising of an office complex, auditorium, meeting hall, public library and children's library with reading rooms is situated at the newly constructed building premises. In addition, it will also house the Bank of Ceylon branch and sales stalls. The building complex, constructed under the Puranagama project, has cost 100 million rupees. Madhya Pradesh Sabha chairman said it is expected to be vested in the people at the end of this month. Moving on to sports news now. Former Sri Lanka batsman Bhanuka Rajapaksa has been fined $5,000 for a breach of contract and is essentially on probation for 2 years, having been handed a 1-year ban as a suspended sentence. Sri Lanka Cricket dealt out these punishments for breaching the obligations of player contract 2019-2020 while appearing in social and other media interviews, according to an official release. Bhanuka Rajapaksa has been publicly protesting his continued omission from Sri Lanka's major teams, most recently suggesting he should have been part of Sri Lanka's squad for the tour of England. Despite the punishments, Rajapaksa has been included in the biosecure bubble training squad that may be picked from for the forthcoming series against India. That's on sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Household waste will be utilized to produce organic fertilizer. This project is launched in the district of Galle. State Minister Mohan P. D. Silva says this project is launched in line with the government initiative and household biodegradable organic waste, transforming it into organic fertilizer can be used as agricultural nutrients, avoiding its disposals in landfills.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
National Agricultural Program will be initiated next Saturday. General Manager of the Coconut Development Board, Manil Kularatna, says 400,000 coconut plants will be planted covering all the districts in the island under the program. She added Coconut Development Board has also planned to initiate the first ever King Coconut seedling estate in line with the project.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in western, Sabaragamu, northwestern and southern provinces and in Kandy and Nureli districts. Fairly heavy showers, about 75 millimeters, can be expected at some places. Showers or thunder showers may occur at several places elsewhere in the evening or night. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Back to the headlines. The President says the cooperative societies can provide a better service for the benefit of both the farmers and the consumers. Special bus service for the primary school children. Parliamentarian Tisatha Nayaka says UNP should practice a friendly atmosphere to work together with the Samagi Janabala Vegaya. Professor Atula Sumatipala says launching trade union actions is totally discriminating and unfair at this critical juncture. In world news, COVID restrictions in England will be lifted shortly. Sports, Sri Lanka batsman Bhanuka Rajapaksa fined $5,000 for a breach of contract. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news.